equality of the sexes. So that is the meaning of feminist. And a person who supports feminism is called a feminist. And feminist means an advocate of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. And feminism, so what is feminism? Well, you see, so at the very outset, we must get a clear-cut picture of these root words, okay, the beginning words. What is feminist? What is feminism? So, what is the view of feminism? Everything that we have to know right now. So, feminism is the belief. Feminism is the belief and idea of promoting equality between men and women. Feminism, feminism is the belief that is the belief and idea of promoting equality between men and women, especially in all opportunities. Since women, since women suffer from, since women suffer most from oppression, suppression, or harassment, feminism seeks to challenge women's power structure, roles, and perception, especially in modern societies. That's very some lines about feminism. And one who advocates of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes is called feminist. Or a person who supports feminism is called a feminist. Well, so now let's start everything in nutshell, following as usual process. So,
Sir,
what is
please repeat.
feminism?
What is feminism? Please repeat this line.
I told 3 to 4 times. Okay, okay. Listen again. Feminism is the belief and idea. Listen mindfully. Attention, please. Feminism is the belief and idea of promoting equality between men and women, especially in all opportunities. Since women, since women suffer most from oppression, suppression, or harassment, feminism seeks to challenge women's power structure, roles, and perception, especially in modern societies. So that's uh, all about the meaning of feminism in short. So now let's start everything in detail about feminism. Feminism is an interdisciplinary approach. Feminism is an interdisciplinary approach to issues of equality and equity based on gender expression. So, what do you mean by interdisciplinary? What do you mean by interdisciplinary? Interdisciplinary means relating to more than one branch of knowledge. So the very simple meaning of this word interdisciplinary means relating to more than one branch of knowledge. So feminism is an interdisciplinary approach to issues of equality and equity based on gender expression. You understand what is gender expression? Gender identity, sex, and sexuality as understood through social theories and political activism. Although largely originated in the West, although feminism that came into being in the West, feminism is manifested worldwide, is represented by various institutions committed to activity on behalf of women's rights and interests. That clear cut meaning about feminism. Throughout most of Western history, throughout most of Western history, as it originated in the West, as earlier I told, as it originated in the West, so throughout most of Western history, women were confined to the domestic sphere, as you know it very well. Nowadays also the same precarious scene is going on everywhere. Here also in town down vibes and also in sophisticated areas everywhere. So that's throughout most of Western history, women were confined to the domestic spheres. Means they're only confined to the four walls of the construction. They are only confined to the four walls of the construction. They can't go out. They can't see the enchanting world with their any near and dear ones. That's from the very right from the very inception, right from the very inception, from the very time immemorial since today. So it has been working. Sure, that's while public life was reserved for men, so women were confined to the domestic spheres. While public life was reserved for men, only men can go. Only men can go. They can do everything. They can even if take the responsibility of one and all, but never allow the women to come. In medieval Europe, women were denied the right to own property. Okay, so as discussion is about feminism, so everything taking all these things into account, as from that's from different standpoints, from different angles, we have been discussing that in medieval Europe, as earlier I told, as earlier I told, that is the meaning of feminism, promoting equality. So the belief and idea promoting equality between men and women, especially in all opportunities, in all spheres of activities, or in all sphere field of life. Sure, that is in medieval Europe, women were denied the right to own property. Also nowadays, but nowadays it's not happening. Women can be the owner, okay, of property. Women were or denied the right to own property, to study, to study, or to participate in public life. or to participate in public life. At the end of 19th century, at the end of 19th century in France, they were still compelled to cover their heads in public and in parts of Germany.
Then in France, what?
They were still compelled to cover their heads. Okay. Nowadays, you might have seen also if you go to the town on vibes or that's remote areas, the same scene as what at present I am discussing with you. Also nowadays, it is seen there in the country sites. You can find that. So women are compelled to cover their heads in public and in parts of Germany. As France, as it originated in France, okay, France, so Germany, in parts of Germany, a husband still had the right to sell his wife. Remember how precarious the situation is, how heart-rending the condition is, the state is, means condition is. Even if a man has the right to sell his wife, remember, a husband still had the right to sell his wife in those days. There, where in France, as it originated in France, Germany, so France. Talking of France, because France is coming under Germany. So that is even as late as the early 20th century, women could neither vote nor hold elective office in Europe. Neither they can cast their vote. But nowadays it's happening. Nowadays it's happening, but in those days it was not there. So even as late as the early 20th century, women could neither vote nor nor hold a elective office in Europe and in most of the United States, where several territories and states granted women's suffrage. SUFFRAGE. Women's suffrage means the right to vote in uh, political elections. The right to vote in political elections. That is called suffrage. Women's suffrage. States granted women suffrage long before the federal government do so. Women were prevented. So now just we are discussing the precarious scene of the women, the very that thought-provoking scene of a woman in those days. As discussion is about feminism, so at least we must have a clear-cut idea, or we must be clear or crystal clear also about what right now I am discussing with you. Okay, these are the beginning discussion. Then after we have to switch over to the arrest. That women were prevented from conducting business without a male representative. Remember what type of scenes were happening these days. A husband can sell his wife. Woman has to just just can't that cover his head in public places, can't cast her vote, and that he can't conduct business without a male representative, can start a business or launch a business without a male representative. Whatever he's going to do, he must be accompanied with a man so that he can do. Otherwise, can't. He'll be deprived of, sorry, she'll be deprived of getting that or doing that. So, uh, that a male representative, be it a father, brother, husband, legal agent, or even son. Remember, whoever she may be, if present with the woman, if is with the woman, if the son is with the woman, if the husband is with the woman, if the father is with the woman, if he was a brother, then here's so then she's getting the opportunity to do anything what she likes. Otherwise, she'll be deprived of. She can't get that. Okay. Could be a father, brother, husband, legal agent, or even son. Married women, married women. Now I'm just discussing with the condition of the women in these days in France. Okay. As discussion about feminism. How do they just lead their life? How do the women lead their life these days? Married women could not exercise control over their own children. Married women could not married women couldn't could not exercise control over their own children without the permission of their husbands. You see, that's very that really that the situation is very very pathetic, very very pathetic. Married women could not exercise control over their own children, or own children to whom they have given birth. They can't even exercise any power or right over them without the permission of their husbands. Okay, so they have to take the permission of their husbands. If they have to chat with their children, own children. Moreover, women had little. So are you listening? Hello, hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So moreover, women had a little or no access to education. No education can take admission in any educational institutions. Okay. So women had little or no access to education and were barred from most professions, deprived of just joining in any type of professions, that is barred from. In some parts of the world, in some parts of the world, such restrictions on women continue today also nowadays. You might have seen that gone Koraput and Motu Photo, all these areas, Koraput, Kolahandi. Okay. So the people of those areas also nowadays facing the same problem. Okay, Koraputu. Okay, that countrysides of Koraput everywhere, and Motu, Malkangiri. So district is now it has been declared as a district. So also Malkanagiri, Koraput, Motu, all this. So okay, the same things are going on there also. So women have little or no access to education and we are barred from uh, most professions. In some parts of the world, such restrictions on women continue today. So now history of feminism. So now you knew just that the condition or the precarious, so to say called the most precarious or heart-rending or pathetic condition of the women in France. How do they lead their life? How do they sustain everything you knew now in not self, but many things are there. So needless to discuss all this. So what I told you for you It's important. These are the most important lines. So now pass on to discuss that is history of criticism. Sorry, history of feminism. I told criticism. Sorry, history of feminism. History of feminism. There is scant little evidence. There is scant evidence of early organized protest against such circumscribed status. That a rebellion proved exceptional. However, for most of recorded history, only isolated voices spoke out against the inferior status of women. Isolated voices means they want to speak something, but being oppressed or suppressed or harassed by someone are not able to speak. That is called uh, isolated voices, leading a lonely life, as if they have lost everything in their life. So life is a curse to them. As you know that nowadays life has become a vast, manifold, and hectic. So also it was for them in those days also. So that spoke out against the inferior status of women, precising the arguments to come in late 14th and early 15th century. That's a philosopher, a very famous philosopher, challenged prevailing attitude towards women. Means raised his voice against these activities with a bold call, prevailed attitude towards women. Mean that is how women are being harassed, oppressed, or suppressed, or treated unconditionally. Okay, sorry, conditionally, and uh, that is so that famous philosopher raised his voice, challenged the prevailing attitude towards women with a bold call for female education. Bold call means spread this news before all. You come and join with us, join with me. I will give you your right. I will give you the freedom. As Subhas was told, I will give you the freedom. I will help you in this regard. Never fear. You come and join with me. Well, so in these ways, he just started that campaign and with a bold call for female education. Because previously I told they are not getting any education, they are deprived of getting taking admission in schools and colleges. Okay, they can't go to schools and colleges, so they're barred from all these activities that educational institutions also. So that man came, that's very renowned philosopher and activist, social activist, came and raised his voice against all these uh, inferior qualities, and also with a bold call for female education. Sorry, uh, the defense of women had become a literary subgenre by the end of the 16th century. Defenders, defenders of the defenders of the defenders of the status quo, defenders of the status quo painted women as superficial and inherently immoral, while emerging feminist means those who came to the limelight that time, those who became the trendsetters to do away with that system. Okay, so to uproot that system, to uproot that system. So status quo means status, that's defenders of the status quo. Status quo means that is the existing state of affairs. The existing state of affairs is especially regarding social or political issues. Social or political issues means that's the combination of circumstances at a given time, what's actually happening that time. So taking that into account, they just raise their voice. So status quo painted women as superficial and inherently immoral, while emerging feminists produced long list of women of courage and accomplishments and proclaimed that women would be the intellectual equals of men. You see, so two groups came. So there arose a quarrel between the two groups. The first group raised their voice that women are superficial. They painted the picture of women as superficial and inherently immoral. So, okay, so it's being done again. So it's well and good, right? But another group came that while emerging feminists produced another type, emerging, that's another persons who tried to just bring a drastic change in all these activities. So that's called while emerging feminist produced long lists of women of courage, produced long list of women, or painted the picture of women with full of courage and accomplishments, and proclaimed means declared that women would be the intellectual equals of men. They should given the proper status and equality with men also. If they were given
And
equal
accomplish
access,
and declare the what? Accomplish
uh,
and declare the what?
intellectual equals, men women also have got the same intellect, same caliber, same quality. So why should they be treated as inferior? Why should they be treated as inferior or lower? Okay, no, that's wrong. So uh, if they were given equal access to education, because men are getting education, so if women are getting education, so they will be equal with the men. They can know everything, they will learn everything. Okay, they'll lead a better life, aristocratic life, sophisticated life. They will also raise their voice against that system, against that idea and system, ongoing idea and system. Okay, so second group came and emerging feminist came and told that women should be given or provided education so that they can get everything. The so-called debate about women, the so-called the so-called debate, because the debate is going on, an argument is going on. between two groups. One group is going against another group that's speaking in favor of. Okay, so it's a debate is going on, that pros and cons. Okay, sure. That is the so-called debate about women didn't reach England until the late 16th century. So the debate was going on, but it didn't spread to England until the late 16th century. When pamphleteers, pamphleteers means a writer of pamphlets, a writer of pamphlets, especially one's uh, vote of a political and controversial nature. So what is pamphlet? Pamphlet means a brochure, booklet or a leaflet containing information or argument about a single subject. Containing, so what is booklet or brochure? A leaflet means containing information or argument about a single subject. That is called pamphleteers. A writer. So those who write that booklet or brochure or leaflet are called pamphleteers. So that when pamphleteers and polemistics, poly, polemicists, polemicist means a person who joined or engages uh, in controversial debates. A person who joins or engages in controversial debates. Okay, and always just fights the opposite with a very critical mind. Okay, so that is, so pamphleteers and polemicists joined battle over the true nature of womanhood. Those who wrote pamphlets or brochure about women, and those who uh, joined or engaged in controversial debates. So they came and raised their voice against women's suppression or oppression or harassment. So that is after a series of satiric pieces, after a series of satiric pieces, Working Woman was published. Women was published. The first feminist pamphleteer in England, the first feminist pamphleteer in England, writing as Jane Anger, responded with Jane Anger, her protection for women, that is 1589. That's Jane Anger. So wrote a booklet or leaflet or brochure about women. So 1589. This holy means a number of beliefs. This holy of opinion, VOLLEY, holy of opinions, a number of beliefs discharged at one time. The holy of opinion continued for more than a century until another English author came. So a series of a proposal to the ladies, that is 1694 to 1697. A series of proposals came or launched to the ladies 1694 to 1697. The two volume work suggested that women inclined neither towards marriage. Okay, you see that some another English writer, that is that doctrine came in favor of the women, that the volume work suggested that women inclined neither towards marriage nor a religious vocation. Women inclined neither towards marriage nor a religious vocation, should set up movements, should set up secular. Secular means not connected with religious or spiritual matter. That is non-religious. That is non-religious. Should set up secular convents where they might live, study, and teach. Okay, so one English, that's um, another English author, another group just gave that news or spread that news in their that is booklet or leaflet. So now, what is feminist theory? What is what is feminist theory? Feminist theory or feminism is a historically women-led movement that calls for an end to sexism in all forms. Feminist theory or feminism is a historically women-led movement that calls for, means invites for, an an end to sexism in all forms. Feminists strive for social justice. Feminists feminist, one who advocates, that's one who speaks in favor of feminism, are called feminist. As earlier I told, one who speaks in favor of feminism is called feminist. Okay, so that feminists strive for social justice. Feminists strive for social justice for those who have been oppressed by the patriarchy. Participants that patriarchy, a system of power dominated by men. Patriarchy means a system of power dominated by men. A system of power dominated by men in society. Because you see, as earlier I told in the very beginning, at the very outset, I discussed with you that the social condition, the economic condition, that the everything of women, in short. So that is called a system of power dominated by men in society. Although feminists may differ on the best way to accomplish this, although feminists may differ on the best way to accomplish this, feminism as a whole is concerned with bringing about a better society for women, non-binary people, and everyone in between. Feminists like Simon D. Beauvoir, that's another staunch follower of feminist. We'll discuss about him also later. So Simon uh, D. Beauvoir and Mary Wollstonecraft, Wollstonecraft, Simon Feminist like, so they are the strong feminist, staunch favor of feminism. Okay, they advocated feminism. So spoke in favor of feminism. So feminists like Simon de Beauvoir and Mary Wollstonecraft want to create a better world where nobody is denied opportunity or respect as a result of their gender. That where nobody is denied opportunity or respect as a result of their gender. So types of feminism. Now we have to discuss types of feminism. So there are three types of feminism. Now just in short we have to discuss. While all feminists are united, while all feminists are united under a shared belief that one's gender should not determine one's role or treatment in society. Many feminists differ on the nuances of feminist theory. There are many labels different feminists might use to describe their beliefs. But the three most prominent types of feminism, okay, so there are many levels different feminists might use to describe their beliefs. But the three most prominent types of three most prominent types of feminism are liberal feminism, socialist feminism, and radical feminism. They are the types of feminism. Three most prominent types of feminism are liberal feminism, socialist feminism, and radical feminism. So step by step we have to discuss. Okay, what is liberal feminism? At first, we have to discuss what is liberal feminism. So now to discuss what is liberal feminism. So liberal feminism, liberal feminism is rooted in classical liberal ideology. Liberal feminism is rooted in classical liberal ideology, which promotes freedom, individualism, and equality. Which promotes freedom, individualism, and equality. Understand? Liberal feminism promotes freedom, individualism, and equality. It is not the goal of the liberal feminist. It is not the goal of The liberal, you understand the meaning of liberal? He's a very liberal person, means kind person. He shows sympathy to others, very liberal. Okay, so that is it is not the goal of the liberal feminist. It is not the goal of the liberal feminist to uproot societal structures, but to give people of all genders an equal place within those structures. The they typically advocate for change through
Complete wasteland.
they typically advocate for change through legal and political reform. They want a change through legal and political reform. That is called liberal. Legal. Nothing is illegal. That are resort to legal form. Okay. Take the help of legal form. So legal and political reform. An example of the liberal feminist approach, an example of the liberal feminist approach would be the way the moment for to criminalize marital rape. In this case, the male dominance over women was considered the natural order of things in the home, but liberal feminists, philosophers, feminist philosophers, and activists saw that this natural order was detrimental to women's safety and a violation of their rights, and they fought their way to victory through legislation. Another example of the liberal feminist method is the story of Susan B. Anthony, who was crucial during the suffrage, women's suffrage. As I told, the meaning of women's suffrage means the right to vote in political, okay, in political election. The right to vote in political election is called women's suffrage. So, who was crucial during the women's suffrage movement, which aimed to empower women by giving them a voice in politics. I mean, that man came, philosopher came, strong philosopher. He gave a right to the women to cast their votes, to cast their votes, because as earlier I told, women were deprived of casting their votes. They cannot just take part in election or that choose their opinion, that give their opinion or choose their leader, giving their own opinion. Understand? So all these issues came to the limelight, and many emerging feminists came and did their best in favor of the women. And I'll just wait 2 to 3 minutes. We'll start. Another two types. So now we have to discuss. As I told, so there are three most prominent types of feminism. There are three most prominent types of uh, feminism. One I discussed, uh, liberal feminism. So the second one is social feminism. The second one is social feminism. Socialist feminism. Socialist feminism. Historical analysis indicates historical analysis indicates that all human societies all human societies have been or are marked by some degree of inequality between sexes. Historical analysis indicates that all human societies have been or are marked by some degree of inequality between sexes. Even in the 21st century, there is an ongoing struggle against oppression of women in some societies. As right now we are discussing socialist feminism, so we have to discuss the word society also. So that is against oppression of women in
Sir, any prominent writers,
yes.
are support this socialistic feminism? Some of the names, please.
I told Simon D. Beauvoir and just earlier I told two to three names. Okay, Mary Wollstonecraft, Simon D. Beauvoir. Okay, Beauvoir, Simon D. Okay, so we'll discuss about Simon D. Beauvoir. Okay, and Mary Wollstonecraft.
Sir,
Uh,
anyone can be the proprietor of the feminism?
Feminism, just follower. Okay, writer of feminism, French writer. Okay,
No, sir. Who
that
is the proprietor of feminism, sir?
feminism means that there
Anyone mentioned here, sir?
just listen. I am speaking. That is, uh, they are the strong supporters of feminism. You see, all were the strong supporters of feminism. So that is Simon D. Beauvoir and that is uh, Mary Wollstonecraft. Uh, okay, so these two were the most prominent feminist, most two prominent feminist of that period, that time. Okay,
Okay, sir.
uh, Simon D. Beauvoir and Mary Wollstonecraft.
ଆଉ ସାର୍ ଜଣେ ଅଲ୍ଫ ଅଛନ୍ତି
Hmm?
ଭିର୍ଜିନିଆ ଅଲ୍ଫ
Virginia Woolf, that is Virginia Woolf also. Yes, Virginia Woolf also. Virginia Woolf. Okay, because so, see, no time is there, so we can't just uh, go to discuss them all, as time is very short. So that's required, and within that short span, We are discussing everything in short. So now socialist feminism, just right now I was discussing with you socialist feminism that even in the first century, there is an ongoing struggle against oppression of women in some societies. Oppression means harassment of women in some societies. Although men are physically stronger than women, although men are physically stronger than women, socialist feminism supports the idea. Socialist feminism support the idea that women experience oppression in various ways. Yes or no? Women experience oppression in various ways. Nowadays also it's happening in the down vibes in the rural areas. Women are suffering a lot from different standpoints, from different angles, from different spheres of activity. So that socialist feminism supports the idea that women experience oppression in various ways, including education, race, and class. Education, race, class, and socialist feminism. Class, education, race, and class. Education, are women also are deprived of education, deprived of going to schools and colleges. In those days, that's a woman cannot take admission in educational institutions. Yes or no? In those days, it was there that a woman can't take admission in educational institutions or think of uh, going to school. And race also, racial injustice, okay, low high in these ways, and class also, race and class. Socialist feminism is defined as the struggle. Socialist feminism is defined as the struggle against capitalism and male supremacy or patriarchy. Okay, male supremacy or patriarchy. Patriarchy means the male member enjoys the utmost prestige. That is called patriarchy. So, socialist feminism is defined as the struggle against capitalism, because in capitalism, that the property is owned by a private party. The property or wealth is owned by a private party. Private party. So it was strongly opposed by the socialist feminism. Okay. So socialist feminism is defined as the struggle against capitalism and male supremacy or patriarchy. Patriarchy. Socialist feminism doesn't exclusively focus on gender. Socialist feminism does not exclusively focus on gender to account for women's opposition, but also attempts to incorporate Okay, sorry to just interrupt because of some problems. Uh, so now, that is so account for women as a position, but uh, also attempts to incorporate. Means that is join an analysis of class and economic condition for women. Feminism is the belief and idea of promoting equality between man and women, especially in all opportunities. Since women suffer, since women seeks to challenge, since women suffer most from oppression, feminism seeks to challenge women's power structure, roles, and perception, especially in modern societies. So now you knew two types of feminism. That is liberal feminism, socialist feminism. So now radical feminism. After that, we will discuss that is Simon D. Beauvoir. Okay? Simon Simon D. Beauvoir. Okay, Beauvoir. Simon D. Beauvoir. So now radical feminism. Radical feminism is a perspective within feminism. Is a that's vision within feminism. Radical feminism is a perspective within feminism that calls for a radical reordering of society, a complete picture, okay, from beginning to end. That a radical reordering of society in which male supremacy is eliminated. So they just advocate for eliminating male supremacy. That is patriarchy. Male supremacy means patriarchy. Okay, so they calls for uh, eliminating or uprooting male supremacy. That is patriarchy in all social and economic contexts, while recognizing that women's experiences women's experiences women's experiences are also affected by other social divisions such as in race, class, and sexual orientation. Women not only are suppressed or face problems or difficulties in one particular field, also there are many various fields, and in all these fields women are oppressed and harassed or are treated unequally. Okay, so the ideology and movement emerged. So the ideology and movement emerged in 1900, 1960, yes, 1960, uh, 60. A
Sir,
radical feminist,
sir, one minute.
radical,
Sir, what is the accurate meaning of radical, sir?
radical means a complete change, a complete change. Okay,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
radical views, a clear cut complete change. Well,
Continue, sir.
okay, so radical feminist view, radical feminist view society fundamentally as a patriarchy in which men dominate and oppress women. Radical means they belong to a group. Okay, so that radical feminists view society. So radical here actually the term here the is meant for because it has different meaning. A word has different meanings, different connotations depending on the sense of the sentence. But here radical feminism means entirely rejects patriarchy and the system that uphold it, supports it. As you know, the words differ, the meaning of the words differ. Okay, in different sentences as doctors differ. So also here, uh, because you see, whale and whale. He was drowned in the whale, and he has done whale. Understand? Do you get me or not? WELL whale, and another whale is WELL also whale. Yes or no? He has drowned in the whale, or he excavated the whale, dug the whale, and his condition is very well. Understand? Though pronunciation or sound of the two words are same, but differences are there in their meanings as well as spellings. Okay, so the same word, how do we use it differently in different sentences, just basing on the sense of the sentence. So here, radical feminism means entirely rejects patriarchy. The term is meant for this sentence. Entirely rejects patriarchy and the system that it means supports it. So that's radical feminism views society fundamentally as a patriarchy in which men dominate and oppress women. Radical feminists seek to abolish the patriarchy in a struggle. Their main intention is to abolish patriarchy. Patriarchy in a struggle to liberate women and girls. Remember that point. To liberate means give freedom to women and girls from a perceived unjust society by challenging existing social norms, and institutions. This struggle includes opposing sexual objectification of women, raising public awareness about such issues as rape and other violence against women, challenging the concept of gender roles. Okay, because male should enjoy the utmost prestige. The male reigns the supreme. The female are inferior, treated as inferior. The male are superior. So, taking all these into consideration, so an emerging feminist came and rose their voice, raised raise their voice. So radical feminists believe in equality between all genders. Remember, radical feminist, here the term suggests or refers to that, the meaning radical. Radical feminists believe in equality between all genders, whether it may be male or female, whatever it may be. Okay. So radical feminists believe in equality between all. So now knew that the types of feminism, that at first liberal feminism, then socialist feminism, then now I discussed with you that is radical feminism. Then importance of feminist theory. But I'm not discussing the important because time taking. So that's the gist, the entire that's the summary in 5 to 6 lines for a clear cut understanding. Feminism is a movement that challenges gender inequality. Feminism is a movement that challenges gender inequality under patriarchy. A system of attention, please. The most important. Feminism is a movement that challenges gender inequality under patriarchy. Patriarchy, okay. Patriarchy, a system of power led by men. A system of power led by men and fights for change. Feminists fight for gender equality. Feminists fight for gender equality for everyone. Remember, feminists fight for gender equality for everyone, including women, men, transgender, and non-binary people. Most feminists, most feminists agree on 5 basic principles: working to increase equality. Remember, working to increase equality means most feminists agree on 5 basic principles: working to increase equality, expanding human race, human choice, eliminating gender stratification, division, ending sexual violence, and promoting sexual freedom. Liberal feminism works with a liberal democracy. Liberal feminism works with a liberal democracy.
Sir, fourth and fifth principle, please repeat this.
I'm discussing. Liberal feminism works within a liberal democracy to enact change through legislation, through proper channel to liberal feminism, through proper channel, through legislation, taking the help of a law, not becoming illegal, rather becoming legal, not taking the help of a law. And socialist feminism connects the flaws of capitalism with gender inequality. Radical feminism rejects patriarchy entirely and the ideological and societal structures that uphold it. Although feminist theory has expanded to champion the struggles of all genders or to spread the struggles of all genders, it is still a relevant. It is still a relevant and influential movement. It is still a relevant and influential movement. Okay, so now you knew many things about that feminism, feminist theory, and also types of feminism, everything. So now that is Simon D. Beauvoir. Okay, Simon D. Beauvoir. So he was a strong feminist, strong feminist, raised his voice against feminism. Simon de Beauvoir was a French writer, feminist, social theorist, and existential philosopher, very strong philosopher. She is best known. She is best known for her outstanding ideas surrounding feminism or groundbreaking ideas. Means that's ideas from the very root. That is groundbreaking ideas. Ideas from the very root, from the base level, from the elementary level. Okay, that the preliminary stage. That is ideas from the very preliminary stage, known for our groundbreaking ideas surrounding feminism. Her book, The Second Sex. So she has written a book on feminism called The Second Sex. It's said to mark the beginning of second wave feminism across the globe. Across the globe. In her book, in her book, she argues that throughout history, women have become classified as the other, which has allowed women to remain oppressed. She advocates for their liberation. She advocates for their freedom. Means for the freedom of women. Simon fiercely challenged, very strongly challenged, or you can say very radically challenged the societal norms and expectations of her time. Her second contribution, her second contribution to the feminist movement was a petition entitled Manifesto of the 343, which she authored and signed in 1971. This act of gathering 343 women, this act of gathering 343 women to come forward with their experiences paved the way for the legislation of birth control and abortion in France. Together, together, Simon's book petition and will to fight for gender equality changed the face of feminism and society at the time or at that time. Simon Simon was known for many pieces of writing and ideas. Simon was known for many pieces of writing and ideas. Particularly in the realm of feminism, in the that is area of feminism. Perhaps her most innovative and long-lasting ideas were outlined in her publications, including The Second Sex and the Manifesto of the 343. In The Second Sex, Simon analyzed women's oppression and outlined the foundation for contemporary feminism. The Second Sex is a 1,000 page critique, a publication of the patriarchal society. And the idea that women were considered to be lesser beings than men. So D. Beauvoir famously writes that Simon famously writes, one is not born a woman. Simon writes, one is not born a woman but becomes one, suggesting that gender is a societal construct, not a biological identifier. So society has made the women so, to be so. The society, not the biological identity, not the biological identity, but the society the society has outlined all these structures. So in the second sex, Simon also outlines women's difficulty, women to liberate themselves. Women's difficulty, women to liberate themselves economically, politically, and sexually. The ideas and arguments Simon outlined in her writing were revolutionary at the time and sparked an awakening of a second wave of feminism. Throughout the second sex, that the writing of throughout the second sex, Simon references myths, ancient creations myth and the Bible, arguing that women are labeled as the other, and throughout the secondary to men, to be men, and thought to be secondary to men. Okay, in these biblical myths, Women are frequently portrayed as the sinful of a weak side of a being. Using evidence from the literature, using evidence from the literature, Simon writes a compelling argument as to the connection between myth and history. Through this connection, she argues men defined women as the other, the darker, inferior side of humanity, unworthy of responsibility.
Sir, connection between what and what?
Connection between myth and history. Through this connection, she argues men defined women as the other, the darker, inferior side of humanity, unworthy of responsibility. However, the second sex was not Simon's only contribution to feminist theory. She also wrote and signed the Manifesto of the 343 published on April 5th, 1971. So the second sex is considered to be the beginning of the second wave of feminism. Remember, the second sex is considered to be the second sex. Also outlines women's difficult women to liberate themselves. The second sex is also considered to be the most important part of the sexuality. The beginning of the second wave of feminism, which advocated for sexuality, family, reproductive rights, and legal inequalities. Again, telling the publication of the second sex is considered to be the beginning of the second wave of feminism. With the beginning of the second wave of feminism, which advocated for sexuality, family, reproductive rights, and legal inequalities. All these points that we come across in the Simon's the second sex. Okay. So many things are there in it. Uh, uh, and then that is Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary Wollstonecraft's A Vindication of the Rights of Women. That's the writing about feminism. Mary Wollstonecraft, A Vindication of the Rights of Women.
Sir, what do you mean by vindication?
Vindication to strongly protest against feminism. Vindicate. Just wait 2 3 minutes. So uh, that is Mary Wollstonecraft, uh, born April 27, 1759, London, England, died September 10, 1797, London. As an English writer and passionate advocate of educational and social equality for women, he is an English writer and passionate advocate of educational and social equality for women. She outlined her beliefs in a vindication of the rights of women 1792, considered a classic of feminism. In 1788, in 1788, she began working as a translator for the London publisher Joseph Johnson, who published several of her works, including the novel Mary, a fiction. Her mature work on women's place in society is a vindication of the rights of women. 1792. So that's which calls for women and men to be educated equally. Because Mary Wollstonecraft so advocated that men and women should be given uh, priority. A vindication of the rights for women is one of the trailblazing works of feminism. Trailblazing means introducing a new ideas or methods, innovating or pioneering. Introducing a new ideas or method, that is called trailblazing. So a vindication of the rights of women is one of the trailblazing works of feminism, published in 1792. Wollstonecraft's works argued that the educational system of her time deliberately trained women to be frivolous. Frivolous means uh, not having any serious purpose. Frivolous. Women to be frivolous and incapable. She posited that she thought that an educational system that allowed girls the same advantages as boys would result in women who would be not only exceptional wives, result in women who would be not only exceptional wives and mothers but also capable workers in many professions. Other early feminists had made similar pleas for improved education for women, but but Woll's- Wollstonecraft's work was unique in suggesting that the betterment of women's status be effected through such political change as the radical reform of national education system. Such change, she concluded, would benefit all society. So now it's time just to quit. Okay. So what's you got? That's sufficient, if not completely clear, but to some extent you knew what is inside feminism and its types, and some strong feminist and their views also, everything in short. Okay, so tomorrow to start at the next 7, block 7. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.